Well, hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Unstoppable Mindset. I've told you all in the past about a program that I attend every so often called Potapalooza. And on the 18th of June, we had number 16 in the Potapalooza series. And one of the people I got a chance to speak with was Dr. Tamir Qadree. And Tamir is our guest today. He calls himself, or I want to find out if he calls himself that or somebody else calls him that, the Dean of Dynamic Results. I want to hear more about that, certainly. But we're really glad that he's here. He has been involved in dealing with metaphysical philosophy. He's a coach. He does a lot of things that I think are very relevant to what we hear from a lot of people on this podcast. So I'm really looking forward to having a chance to chat with you. So, Tamir, welcome to Unstoppable Mindset. We're glad you're here.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Well, we appreciate you coming and spending the time. We met Wednesday, the 18th of June, and here it is, the 24th, and we're chatting. So that works.
That works out for me.
Well, so tell us a little bit about the early Tamir growing up.
The early Tamir growing up,
Sure.
that is an interesting
That's always fun.
story. That's always fun because I grew up in Chicago on the west side. And during the time I grew up in the 70s. That was coming out of the turbulent 60s. I was a youngster then. Coming out of that, coming out of the all the protests and the civil rights movement and all that stuff. So I grew up in the 70s, basically. Life to me was a lot of I had a lot of happy times in my life, although we had so-called very little. My mom had a home with an apartment with 13 children, 13 people at all times, 2 bedrooms. I don't know how she made that work, but she did. We stayed clean. The house smelled like bleach. We smell like bleach. We smell like pine sol. And so I got my cleanliness from that. I don't know how she did it. And we all ate. Okay. And what I got from my childhood, me and my brother, we've always been innovative. We've always been results driven, going out knocking on doors. Before there was a DoorDash, we were knocking on doors, buying people's groceries, going to the store for them. We're cutting their yards and doing odd things to earn money. So I've always been a go-getter, results-driven guy, not afraid to ask and looking to get the results, not just for the money, but the money was good to have. But I've always been like that. That's in a nutshell who I've always been.
Well, how did you all sleep? 13 people in the apartment.
Well, it was my mom, my dad before they separated, and it was 11 and then plus cousins, so that's 14. Hey, you know what, buddy? Michael, you make it work.
Yeah.
People say how. It's not how. I think why is a better question because you're family and you can make it work. It can work easier than people think it can. Because when you have love and togetherness and closeness, and you have 2 parents that are on top of their game, is doing the best they can do, it works. That's a very good question. And you're the first person to ever asked me, how did that work? You're the first person.
Well, I can imagine that there are ways to make things work. As you said, you do have to be innovative and you all have to learn that it's important to get along. And that's what family is really all about.
That's true. And that we did. We had to get along. I mean, we live in a house with that many children, 5 boys and 6 girls. No, 6 boys and 5 girls. I reversed it. You have to learn to get along. You have to learn to respect the different genders. You have to learn to respect authority. You have to learn to share, how to care for other people. The interesting about it, my mom would always bring people in from the street. She'd find people less privileged than us, believe it or not. Less privileged. We only had 1 bathroom, by the way. Less privileged. She would buy them clothes and feed them. And if we abuse that person in any kind of way, we get it. Boy, we get it. Okay. Yeah. So I got that from her also. That leads me into how I am now.
Well, we'll get there. So you went to school in Chicago, and how long did you live there?
Well, I went to school in Chicago. I started high school in California.
Okay.
High school in California.
Okay.
My freshman year in California.
So what caused you guys to move out to California?
Well, my aunt came out maybe 20 years before then. My sister came out 2 years after that. My sister came back bragging about California. Everybody in those days, everybody thought California was the land of milk and honey. Back in the
Yeah.
Midwest and back east, California is viewed as the land of milk and honey. It really is. People, we want to go. California represented freedom to us, the promised land. It really did, sort of
Hmm.
a promised land thing. And I was just determined to get to California. My story, if I can tell you about me getting to California, we were in the household. I was 14. My sister had came and promised she'd take me with her. And I said, okay, I'll go. I was her favorite. She promised. So I told everybody on the block, I'm going to California. 13, going on 14-year-old kid. And after people were excited, he's going to California. Some were jealous. And I was telling people I would knock on their door and go pick up groceries for them and cut yards. And after the summer passed, my sister couldn't get me. And the people started laughing at me, jeering me behind my back. He's not going to California. And some of my siblings were, of course, probably a little jealous, a little envious. He's not going. Some people, yeah, you're not going anywhere. In other words, you're going to stay down here with us, in this area with us. And so I said, no, I'm going to California. And I watched this story. The weekend before going to high school, my mother said, she lied to you. She's not going to get you. She lied to you. You can give it up. My cousin said, she lied to you. I said, no, I'm going to California. I had 2 pair of pants, 1 pair of shoes, 2 pair of underwear, and 2 shirts. That's all I had.
Hmm.
And I was going to go to school. Well, that Friday came, I said, I'm going to California. That Friday, this is all summer I've been saying that. People started doubting me. My brother walked in the door, my older brother, 8 years older than me, walked in the door about an hour later and said, I just got married. Me and my wife decided to go to California Monday. You can come with us. That's how I got to California.
There you go. Well, and again, it's really cool that family sticks together somehow. Too bad your sister misled you, but you made it work.
Well, I don't think she so much misled me. She couldn't make it work. She wanted to do it. She couldn't find the finances or time or the effort. She couldn't make it work. She didn't know how to
Okay.
make it work. I don't think she lied to me. That's what they
Hmm.
thought. But no, I don't think, I never thought that.
Yeah. Well, I understand. Well, at least you made it and you got to California. And so what did you find when you got out here?
I found it to be what I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
I saw, I was driving, we were driving and came over the mountains. We saw the little lights on the freeway, the little, on the road, the little reflectors. We're like, wow, there's diamonds in the streets. It was at night, right? With those reflectors. We never seen nothing like that before. Wow,
Yeah.
there are diamonds in the street. And then we look around, I got to San Jose, and I would see the lights up in the air. It was the mountains with people living in the mountains
Yeah.
with the lights. I thought, oh my God, this is heaven. I didn't know.
Yeah.
We didn't know those houses, those lights. So anyway, it was what I thought it was going to be.
I'm
For me,
not
it was the land of milk and honey. For me.
sure. I'm not sure what caused my parents to want to move to California. We moved in 1955.
Right.
In fact, I mentioned earlier we did Potapalooza on the 18th of June, and today is the 24th. That is the day we're recording this, so you'll see when this actually comes out. But June 24th, 1955 was the day we arrived in California from Chicago. And I don't know what caused my father to want to sell his part in the television repair business that he and my uncle owned and wanted to get a job in California, whether they thought it was the land of milk and honey or what, I've never did learn. But nevertheless, we moved out to California. And I think there was a lot to be said for they wanted to be out here. They felt that there were a lot of opportunities and probably they wanted to get out of the city. But we did. So I have now been out here, well, other than living in other places as an adult part of the time, I've lived out here 70 years.
70 years.
Well, we
Wow.
came out in 1955. We got here on June 24th, 1955. So that's pretty cool. But
I
anyway,
wasn't born, but you beat me.
well, there you go. Well, I think there's a lot to be said for California. It's, you know,
Yeah,
I can make a lot of places work. I've lived in New Jersey. I've lived in Boston. I've lived in other places in Iowa for a little while and so on. And so I know there are places that are a lot colder than California and where I
exactly.
even live in California. And there are places that are warmer, but still enjoy it. Well, so you moved out to California. You went to high school here. And then did you do, you did college. Where did you do college?
Well, I did some community college at De Anza. I did some
Okay.
courses over there. Most of my learning came from self study, community college, courses, self-study, and finally, University of Metaphysics. I got involved in metaphysics over 20 years ago, which is metaphysics is really philosophy. Philosophy comes from the Greek word I believe metaphysical from philosophy. So it's philosophy. That's what it is. I got involved in that about 25 years ago when I met speakers like Anthony Robbins, Les Brown. I started listening to Norman Vincent Peale. You've heard of him?
Mm-hmm.
People like that. And then I got into I've always been a voracious reader. Even in Chicago, I've always been a voracious reader, someone that wanted to know. So my educational track really started. See, education in the United States and in a lot of places is them pouring something in you. But true education is what you bring out of you, is what you learn about yourself internally. That's the true education. Instead of pumping stuff in, what's inside of you. So you take what's taken outside of you and mix it with what's inside of you, and there you go. So I've always been a self-starter, but the University of Metaphysics is really was a jewel to me. I said, there's actually a place that reward or they give you a degree in what you love.
And where is that university?
That's in Arizona. It's the largest metaphysical university in the world, the oldest metaphysical university in the world. In fact, Harvard just started offering metaphysical degrees in my field about 4 years ago, which is a great thing. Great. They finally came around to it and they recognized it. Wait a minute. They start offering the same degrees, metaphysical degrees now.
Yeah. Well, but still, so did you go there and actually study there, or did you study remotely, as it were?
No, we studied remotely, like Phoenix and all. It's remote. I went there, of course. I graduated and going back and getting my third doctorate to graduate, go across stage 2. We have ceremonies and all that, and we have, we're renowned throughout the metaphysical world, as far as philosophy. Yeah.
Right. What got you to decide that you wanted to take up a study of metaphysics? You went to community college, you studied some things there. And let me do this first. What did you do after community college?
After community college, I was a family man, working, building. See, I've always been a self-starter. Jobs never settle with me. See, so I've always been a student, a studier. I've always been someone to read the books. Mm-hmm. Listen to the motivational thing, listen to the philosophy. I've always wanted to know deeper knowledge. And I had my brother that brought me to California. He's always been a student too. He was in the service. He's always been a person that study and contemplate. He studied politics, war, philosophies, religion. And I did the same thing. So it's something that's been inside of me, believe it or not, for a very long time. Mm-hmm. I've known this since I was like 8 years old. I've actually known it. And people that knew me knew it. In fact, one lady told me this about 4 years ago. She knew me since I was a baby. I hadn't talked to her in about 40 years. She said, oh my God, she's really my cousin, but not blood. And she said, oh my God. And she started telling me about myself. Here's what she told me. She said, when you were a baby in the crib, you would always stand up for what's right. How can I do that in the crib? She said, when somebody's done wrong, you let them know. When you were a baby, when you got started to stand up, walking up, you'd always stand up for what's right. So I've always had this sense of me of service to other people and a sense of justice. Okay. Certainly I've had my pitfalls too and all that. That's not the point, but I've always had that with me. I've always had that thing about service and helping others. So getting into self-help, which is what metaphysics is, self-help and self-development, it was right up my alley. It was right down my lane. It was a straight strike when I did that. Mm-hmm. It's just a strike. It's a fit, like a glove. The glove does fit, by the way.
Well, what did you do after college? You had to support yourself and so on until you decided to take this up. What did you do?
No. I've been in sales all my life.
Okay.
I've been a salesman all my life.
You've been sales. Okay.
Yeah, good salespeople will never starve.
No.
If you always find a way to make it. I've been selling all my life.
Yep.
So that should answer that. Yes.
Yeah. Now I understand. Well, and there's nothing wrong with being a good salesperson. I think that so many people don't understand that and misunderstand sales, but there are also a lot of people who do truly understand it. And they know that sales is all about developing trust. Sales is all about guiding somebody who needs something to the best solution for them, not just to make money, but to, as you said, it's all about self-help and helping others.
Well, interesting. If I can say something real quick about sales, people that have issues with sales don't understand one thing. You have issues with people that use sales in an unethical way.
Yeah.
Everything is sales. The phone you're using, the headset you're using, the house you got, you had to buy it from someone. That's sales. The water that comes to your home is put there by somebody signing the contract. That's sales. Who's going to bring the water to our home? What company? PG&E, Edison, whatever. Everything is based on sales
Sure it
communication.
is.
But because there's some people that are shysters, you blame the whole pot. You blame everybody. That's not the way sales. Sales is communication. Sales is service. That's what sales is.
Sales is service.
That's what it is.
Pure and simple.
Yeah, it's not some shysty guy or woman trying to con you. And no, that's a con person.
There are way too many of those. There are way too many of those, but nevertheless,
in every field.
Yeah,
in every field. Yeah,
sure. But what you say is true. Sales is service in every sense of the word, and the best salespeople are people who really understand that and put service above basically anything, because they know that what they do, they can do well, and they can help other people and make money, which is also part of what they do need to do. And that's okay.
And without sales, nothing goes around. Sales is really communication. Sales is connecting a product or service, fulfilling a need, getting rid of a pain or something you really don't want to bring you to what you want. That the sales is fulfilling is uprooting the pain, unfulfilled desire, and bring you to the pleasure side of getting what you need, whether it's food, clothing, or shelter. All sales is doing is bridging the gap. And the salesperson is a communicator that bridges that gap. And the reward is, once you have two satisfied sides, the company and the individual or the product, and the reward is you get paid to do it.
Right.
So now it's like you're getting paid to do what you love.
Sure. Well, and there you go. Well, so you have, however, been a person who's been very focused on the whole concept of self-improvement for quite a while.
Yes.
So what got you started down that road?
Here's what got me started down that road. I'm going to go way back to Chicago again. I remember I was 13 years old, and my uncle used to get me. He was a big beer drinker, and he just talked to me and invite me over. And my auntie, and he wanted me to talk. He wanted to hear me talk. I always had these philosophical sayings, even when I was 10 years old, philosophical quotes, these ideas that I didn't read, but just came to me. And one day I told him life is a dream. We're here to play roles. And when you leave the earth, you wake up. In other words, there's no real physical, your body passes on, but you wake up and you're boom, whatever. Anyway, these philosophies like that. And he would sit at the lake with me trying to catch fish. He was so busy drinking beer and talking, he wouldn't catch no fish. He'd tell me, talk, keep talking. I kept talking. And so one day he brought out my other uncle with us, and we sit down at the lake. And my other uncle was saying, I wish he'd shut up. He turned to me and said, talk. Listen to this boy talk. He kept doing that. And one day my aunt said this, he brings Tamir over because he want him to talk. That's why he brings him over. So that kind of encouraged me to make me realize that I had something of value, not just talk, something to say. He would ask me. And then I knew from then on that I had a place in life to assist and service others. Well, not just talk, but practical ideas to get results. So I've been known that for a very long time. It allowed me to be very successful in sales. I've been top producer in billion-dollar companies. It allowed me to write books and to be on share the stage with some great people like Mark Victor Hansen and Jim Rohn. It allowed me to get into a space to where I am now, where I have this flawless confidence that I can be, do, and have whatever I want to be. But I'm able to show other people how to do the same. Those that are receptive and those that are for me to show that I'm not for everybody. I understand that.
Right. You can only do what you can do.
Right.
So you started down this path of dealing with self-improvement, and how did that lead you into metaphysics?
Well, remember now, metaphysics and self-improvement is the same thing. That's just a different word. It's the same thing. Self-improvement comes from metaphysics.
But what made you decided that you wanted to get like an advanced degree in it and actually get degreed in it?
After studying over 1,000 books in like a 2-year period, literally reading those books. Okay. After going through that I went through a breakthrough in 2005, and I went to a breakthrough session called Breakthrough to Success. And the gentleman told me something that's very interesting. I sat in this circle with about 50 people around me, like I'm a fish in a fishbowl. He told me I had high self-confidence for low self-esteem. In other words, I didn't know what self-esteem was. I had developed a Harvard vocabulary. I had spoken on stages and coached clients. I was top producer in a network marketing company. I didn't know what self-esteem, I never thought about what self-esteem was. He told me that if for some reason it really hit me, it really hit to the core of who I am. What do you mean low self-esteem? You have high self-confidence. And here's what I went home and I cried that night. I realized what that meant because I'd have to accept that, but I did. Here's what that meant. Self-esteem is self-confidence, how you feel you can do outside of you. Self-esteem is how you feel about yourself. Okay. And there's no one like you. And I realized that self-esteem is about loving yourself and appreciating yourself, not trying to be anybody else, not trying to wish you were somebody else, not wanting anybody else money, fame, or fortune, but being you and loving you. When I got that, my whole world shifted.
Mm-hmm.
It shifted from this having this confidence, knowing what I can do. I can communicate and speak and sell, but I wasn't giving enough attention to myself and appreciating who I was, my own value.
And that certainly is something that people around you would sense who understand how to do that.
Right. Well, this guy certainly did. And I guess he's not the only one that sensed that, and not just me, but other people, how to do. I said, wait a minute. I said, I had never thought about that. Then I wrote a book called From That. I must have cried for about 30 days straight. Every day, tears of joy in my heart. I didn't care about fame or fortune or impressing nobody. I wasn't trying to be this big speaker, this big guy. I'm just being me. I love me. I didn't care about none of that, but myself and what I call God. And from that point on, I began to really get things come to me that I never have. My mind really opened up to where I didn't care about trying to please anybody. I was enjoying every moment. And I wrote a book called Reclining Master Awaken, 1 Minute to Healthy Esteem. That's when I wrote that book. It's like an autobiography. It talked about my journey to understanding that and what happened to me, what caused me to have low self-esteem, what caused me not to even understand what self-esteem was. And I was a child in that book. Remember the movie The Wolfman with Lon Chaney? Mm-hmm. Lon Chaney? That movie scared the bejesus out of me. My siblings would take me and tell me I was the Wolfman, Wally Wolf. They called me the Wolfman, right? And that movie scared me, man. And it really had a psychological effect on me growing up, right? I was really afraid and didn't know that child in me was still afraid. It was afraid all that time. And that's the part that was really hurt by the low self-esteem. When I discovered that, game was on, it was over as far as that. No, I love me. I'm good enough. I am that. You are that. We're both that. That's all there is. That was it. Game was on after that.
So does the Wolfman scare you today?
No, I laugh at that.
Okay.
It's funny. That's funny as heck. I laugh at it. It's funny as heck to me. And like, wow, I don't get again like, wow, really? Seriously. I can see how that could affect somebody. You tell a little kid something like that.
Lon Chaney in that movie comes across as not having great self-esteem, but that's another story.
I mimic. It's not to say I mimic that. I understand. That.
Yeah.
I bite people too. I get the fights. I bite people too.
So when did you essentially start doing your own business and start working toward coaching and teaching and finding ways to work with clients?
1994, I began to really study the self-improvement movement. Mm-hmm. And I would see guys like Les Brown and Anthony. I said, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I like that. I was already that. I was already teaching. I was already doing that. I didn't know that was a field. I was told that years ago. A guy told me that, and I know that was a field like that. And I started to study those guys and see what they do. And I'm like, really? Interesting. They're doing their thing. They're talking. They're assisting people. Okay. I can do that too. Then I got involved in network marketing. Network marketing is one of those fields where they're some of the most open to self-development I've ever seen. Out of all the fields, network marketing and direct sales, they are the most open people to self-development. They will spend the money on themselves. People spend money on everything, on fancy cars, bigger houses than they need, clothing, everything. But a lot of them won't spend money on good books and to self-improve. Mm-hmm. Right? So when I saw that, I said, wait a minute. Here we go. This is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to do. So I took that with my sales ability, and I started to have that finance me as I go. See, sales and self-improvement is the same thing. The best salespeople have charm, character, charisma, and class. They have charm, character, charisma, and class. They ask questions. They seek to understand other people. They seek to appreciate other people. Those who appreciate it show appreciation. They seek to listen and to learn and to find out what the customer or client want, and they try to match that with that out of all sincerity. And that's why I love sales. Sales and self-improvement go together.
Yeah.
They go right together.
And the best salespeople are the ones who will even say if their product isn't the right product, it won't work.
It won't work. And that's the best coaches, the best anything. If I was coaching a client today and she's a prospect and we're talking, and I told her that I don't want your money. No, this is a preliminary call. Okay, here's why. I don't know if I can assist you or not. I don't know if what I have will assist your situation. I don't even know you yet. How can I ask you for money? She was so appreciative of that, because most people in our industry, they talk to you one time and will offer you something. Wait a minute. You don't know what Michael needs. You haven't even diagnosed him. You heard what he's going to say. You had a canned thing. It was canned what you're going to say to him. You knew what you're going to say. Well, me, I'm different, Michael. I don't know what I'm going to say to you.
Mm-hmm.
That 30-minute call is really a discovery call.
Sure.
And if if I qualify, let's set up another call. In that call, then at the end of that call, we may come to something. Then I can make you offer so I feel I can help you at. If there's a match, boom. That's what a doctor does. No doctor you go to is going to tell you your jaw hurt. You said, no, doctor, my thigh hurts. There's a pain. No, your jaw hurts. That doctor's a quack. That's what a lot of coaches do. A lot of them are quacks. They just read something and they want to apply it to Michael, apply it to me. That may not even fit me. I may not be the one to help Michael.
Sure.
And I have enough integrity and faith and confidence to command to know that. In other words, I don't have commission breath. I'm going to get mine regardless, and nobody can stop it.
Sure. Well, and again, it's how you operate, and it's the ethics you operate with, which is very important.
Ethics. In fact, this is a shameless plug, but I'm going to do it anyway. My third doctorate I just finished called Conscious Business Ethics. Conscious business ethics. You see how we went from metaphysics to the secular world, and Harvard went from the secular world to metaphysics. We both came together now. So we're doing one. I'm doing one now on conscious business ethics, which is a really big issue in business today.
Oh, yeah.
Businesses are more concerned about their bottom line than the people that work for them. Until they treat their employees like customers, they'll always have those problems they don't need.
And it's unfortunate, but I think there've always certainly been people who weren't overtly ethical, but I think it used to be that a larger number of businesses were more loyal to employees than we see today. Now the response always is, this is what the stockholders want. That's what we have to listen to, and that's all we listen to. And that's just not true.
Not only is it not true, what a lot of companies are turning around, though, they begin to understand the value of self-improvement, the value of leadership versus management, the value of being a boss versus being a leader. There's a difference. Managers push, leaders pull. Managers tell you to do, leaders encourage you. They change languages on how they talk to you, how they present to you. They let you understand you have a family. This person has a family, have needs and concerns outside this business. The way a lot of businesses do it now and have done in the past, this is the business, this is our life, this is what we want, regardless of what you want. Either you fit in or you don't. Well, they ran up on I'm a rhino. That never worked with me, brother. I am psychologically unemployable. I will work a job if I have to, even a day, if I say it's quote unquote have to. I will do what I got to do to get what I got to get. But I'm a rhino. I'm psychologically and terminally unemployable. I was taught by Yogananda, which is one of my favorite teachers, wrote Autobiography of a Yogi. You may have heard of Yogananda. And I've been his student for 15 years. And he said something very important that I already knew, but he affirmed it. If you can't be subordinate to other people, some of us are like that. That's not your style. Then do what you got to do until you get where you got to go. Be respectable who you're with, take it, and then move, but be working your way out of it.
Yeah.
But I've been terminally unemployable all my life, brother. A renegade.
Well, but that doesn't mean that you're not useful, part of the system, or trustworthy or reliable. It just means that you operate a slightly different way than most people are used to doing.
Well, yeah, it means this. You're right. It means this. You're right. It means that you're looking to Apple to give you something. I'm going to create my own Apple. That's what it means. I'm that kind of person. We need those kind of people. If we didn't, you wouldn't have this laptop. You wouldn't have the technology you have right now. Those people were innovators and entrepreneurs like me and you. In other words, I'm an entrepreneur. They're entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, they're wanna-be-preneurs. And there's not-a-preneurs, don't even try it, go to work for somebody else. Don't even try to be a preneur. Some
Yeah.
people just don't have it. So
Yeah.
no, it doesn't mean anything that it means that being psychologically employable means that, okay, he is IBM, he is Apple, okay, he is Tesla, he is Cadillac, he is American Airlines. I'm like that. Whether I achieve that level, it's irrelevant. I'm one of those people. That's all. That's it.
So for you, who are the typical people who would be your client? Who are your typical clients or your target audience today?
Entrepreneurs. I mean, entrepreneurs in the real sense. Those who understand sales and psychology. Entertainers, athletes. Why say those people? Those in network marketing and sales. Because those people traditionally understand mindset. They're coming to the mindset. They promote the books in their seminars and the reading and bringing the speakers. They're open to it, to what I have. They're ready for it. They're ready for it. That's my audience. That's my target. And I hone in on target because people say, well, my audience is everybody. Well, not true. Not true. If you want to catch bass, you go to a bass lake. I have a specific audience that I'm targeting. And I'm focused on the audience. That audience is open and receptive and to the level I'm at. I don't teach kindergartners. That's not my specialty. Okay, they got to start too. Okay, I teach those people that are in the field that want to get it, that have a glimpse of it, they want to get it. Now they're ready. So with me, it's like a university level coaching. It doesn't mean you have to have 10 years in the field. It means that you're open and receptive to listen, to accept, and to work. When I give somebody an assignment, if you don't work it, don't talk to me about it. Unless you have a question about it. If you didn't work it, I don't want to talk to you about it. I'd rather you fail first, then come back to me. Because on the other side of failure is success. We got to tweak it or do something. But if you don't do the assignment I give you, let's talk about the next thing, not that. We'll talk about that when you do it. If you don't do it, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. Unless there's some real substantial reason why you didn't or couldn't do it. But that's a different story.
Amen. I agree with you. That's true, brother.
That's always a different story.
Right. Right.
So you at the same time, you have to earn money and survive. What are your thoughts about the whole concept of money?
Money is a terrible master, but a wonderful servant.
Yeah.
Money is necessary. Money has its place. Money is good. Money is not bad. Money is not evil. It's not wicked. And nothing like that. Money is neutral. Money serves you according to your level of service and how you expect it to serve you, how you think about it. Money is a terrible master, but it's a wonderful servant. Money is that thing where it can serve you, but it can be one of the worst tyrants, second to sex, lust. That is the worst. But let me get back to money. Money is a tool. Money is energy. That's why they call it currency. And it must flow. If it's not flowing, it ain't growing. If it ain't growing, you ain't knowing. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
And that mean you ain't sowing the seed. That rhymed. I just made that up, by the way.
Good job.
I just made that up, dude, off the top of my head. Yeah.
Good job.
This came to me. It happened to rhyme. We learning rhymes. Hickory dickory dock, the mouse up the clock, and all that kind of stuff. So that's what I think. That's what money. The concept of money is very fascinating because money is the most easy thing I've ever manifested.
Mm-hmm.
See, money is actually easy to manifest, but people make it hard. Here's why: because they're running after it. While you're running after it, it's right there in front of you. But you're chasing after it, and you're willing to knock over other people to get it, willing to lie, cheat, and steal to get it. Some people, some willing to con, some willing to do unethical things to get you to do it. Like the old commercial, Winston tastes good like a cigarette should. Well, there's nothing good tasting about tobacco. However,
I always wondered that myself, having never smoked. But yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. But telling you that, getting your mind in that frame, gets you to spend your money. Mm-hmm. And we're so money conscious, you want to, as soon as you get money, you want to spend. How about respecting the money? How can I make this money circulate? How can I, one, give something to somebody else in a service or cause? Okay, that's very good to do that. Whether you call it tithing or just giving, that doesn't matter. Whether it's percentage, it doesn't matter. Give from the heart, someone else, and then find a way to circulate that money. That money is actually energy. It comes back to you. It actually comes back to, it circulates. You create a universal energy, a goodwill. It has nothing to do with religion, politics, or nothing, what I just said. Nothing I just said has something to do with life and the laws of the universe, albeit, which works the same for everybody. For everybody.
Mm-hmm. Well, you clearly want to help people and you want people to obtain results. What do you do, or how are you able to consistently help entrepreneurs and your clients and so on to achieve dynamic results and positive results? Which is
One thing I
probably
do,
another way of saying is, what do you do? Anyway, go ahead.
right? What do you do? Well, I'm a content creator. I create content. Okay. I create content. I have a course that's coming out really soon called Create Dynamic Results. And it's a 7 transformational steps to show people how to make these subtle mind shifts that become permanent. Okay. And I'm fortunate enough to be the guide through this program. In that program, what they learn to do is how to take those habits, those nagging habits. See, habits are what make us what we are. Habits, period.
Mm-hmm.
You brush your teeth in the morning, it's a habit. Believe me, you gotta think about it. You're gonna brush your teeth. You're not gonna think about it. You're gonna get up and go do it. Period. End of story. You're not gonna more about it. You're not gonna say, maybe I don't feel like today. You're gonna do it. Okay? More than likely, you're gonna do it. Okay? And because it's a habit. Because that little bitty habit is ingrained in your brain. It's like a fluid, it's been ingrained, and it's like a track. Now, as soon as you wake up, waking up and open your eyes and get out of bed is actually a trigger to go brush your teeth now. It's a trigger. So you gotta do it. Well, bad habits are the same way. You have habits you don't want. They're the same way. Those habits, you hear certain words or certain things that trigger anger, certain that trigger hunger, certain thing would trigger lust, greed, or violence, or just whatever. Okay. So in order to have the habits that support you, that benefits you, you have to transmute those by setting yourself on like a 7 days. I'm using 7 days right now. Say you tell yourself today, I'm not going to get angry. Period. I'm going to remain calm. Now, when you say that, I will bet you $25 to a bucket of beans that you're going to get plenty of opportunities to get angry that day. People are going to say things, they're going to do things, you're angry. Now, here's the thing. The test is to remember what you said.
What you said.
And when it comes, ignore it and then replace that with a different. You keep doing that, you're going to change that habit eventually. It may take a year. You're going to change that habit. So if you've got a habit of procrastinating, not following up on your goals, your plans, not prospecting, you could change that habit by going through certain steps, by changing those grooves in the brain, okay, to have that record play. One good example is that is the mother turkey. The mother turkey is one of the best mothers in creation. The mother turkey loves that baby, cleans that, nurtures that baby just really, 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 okay? And when that baby chirps, that the turkey hearts melt. That mother turkey heart will melt when that baby chirp, period. So now let me change something. You have this polecat. Polecat is the universal enemy of a turkey. When turkeys see a polecat, that turkey go crazy and get crazy and want to kill it, just hard to death. Well, there's an experiment one day where they put a polecat near the turkey and the turkey went crazy, gonna kill it to protect its young. Well, they had a little radio inside of a little device inside the stuffed turkey that chirped like the little baby birds. When that turkey chirped, when that polecat chirped, that turkey was disarmed. That turkey nurtured the phony polecat because of that chirp. Nurtured it. Heard that chirp. That's what habits are. You hear a certain sound and you act like a robot. So actually, we're puppets on a string. This is getting a little deep, but that's in essence what it is. Mm-hmm. So, in assisting people how to change those habits and then how to concentrate, focus. Focus is so big in self-improvement. All people of great success have great focus skills, but very few people teach you how to focus. Have anyone ever taught you how to focus? Very few people have techniques like that, how to focus. Then there's self-analysis. When you self-analysis, you analyze yourself. Then there's willpower, which is creative power. Then there's transmutation of sexual energy. And then the words you speak to yourself. Those 6 or 7 things I just named are the key and foundational to all of our success.
The only thing I would add to that are the words that your inner voice is saying to you, and you need to learn to listen to them.
That's what I said about that self-analysis.
Yeah.
Right. And that's where you come in, concentrate, and meditation.
Yeah.
And so one thing about meditation real quick. Meditation, people, especially a lot of religious people think, well, I'm this or that. I'm a Christian, Muslim, or Jewish, or Jew or Buddhist. I don't do that meditation stuff. Stop. Here's where knowledge becomes power when you understand and
Mm-hmm.
use it. When you want to get stronger arms, you're going to do push-ups. When you want to be a better shooter in basketball, you practice the shots. Anything you want, you practice. Okay. In order to strengthen your mind, where you have the one point of focus and where you're calm, meditation is an exercise of the mind. That's what that is.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what religion you are. Be quiet and learn how to calm down, to quiet the thoughts, all distracting thoughts. Once you quiet the thoughts and then that lake becomes clear without any ripples, and you see the pure reflection of the moon, that's when you become calm. That's when you can get some stuff done. Now you can focus on that thing with laser focus and get it done. Nothing great was ever done without laser focus, ever. There are no accidents.
Right. Well, and also just the whole idea of clearing your mind, letting yourself calm down. It's perfectly okay to ask yourself, how do I accomplish this? The problem with most people is they won't listen for the answer.
No.
And whether you want to say it's God telling you, your inner voice, or whatever, it's really all the same thing. But the problem is people won't listen. And then when they get the answer, they go, oh, it can't be that simple. People don't listen to that inner voice.
It's very powerful. I'm into the inner voice thing. I love meditation. I love doing it. There was once a little girl in the church. She's a Catholic, and she would when everybody would leave the church, she'd sit there for about 10 to 15 minutes every week. And so the cardinal, whoever given the service, came to her and said, "How you doing, little girl?" When she stopped, "Hi, how are you? I notice after every service, everybody leave the chapel. Your parents leave outside too, but every Sunday, little girl, you sit here." I think she's about 12 years old. You sit here and you keep praying. And he asked her why. May I ask why? Why you do it like that? She said, because. Now watch this out of the mouth of babes. Because everybody's praying to God. I want to hear what God has to say to me.
Mm-hmm.
I want to listen. Bam, mic drop. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Mic drop. That's how powerful being quiet in meditation is. Meditation is exercising the mind. So if you say, well, I'm a Christian, a Muslim, a Jew, I don't do that, or I'm a Baha'i, that doesn't matter. Meditation has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with that. It has something to do with, like you said, brother, internally who you are, your inner self. Listen to that still small voice. And by the way, all those religions say that, but few people understand that. They all say the same. They all say the same thing. I know because I study them. I studied the world religions. I studied Buddhism, Islam, Christianity, Kabbalah. I study New Thought. I study that stuff. I love it. But I understood something about it, that we're all actually one. We're actually one, viewed as the many.
Do you generally find that you can get through to people who want to be your clients, or how does that work?
Can you repeat that, please?
Okay. So somebody comes to you and says, I really want to hear what you have to say. I want to learn from you. And you've talked about the fact that you don't teach kindergartners. You teach people who are further along the process. Do you ever misassess or find that you're not teaching the right person, or they just don't want to listen to you once you get started in working with them?
I've never had that happen.
Okay.
I thank God. Never. I'll tell you why. When people come to me, okay, people want to make money. They want to increase their sales. They want to increase their contact. They want to increase their network. They want to increase their productivity. By me showing them how to increase their transformative value, to enhance their performative value, to get to the results they want. Here are the results. We talk about what they want now. See, when I'm talking to you right now, I'm giving you the philosophy, but the coaching is very different. The coaching is actually the philosophy in action with what they're doing. Right. I use the language they're doing, interacting with what they're doing, how they're prospecting, who they're talking to, the attitude they have, the ideas, how to shift certain things. What goals are you hitting right now? Okay, what do you do? What's the top person in the company doing? What are you doing? How do you rate yourself to that? What are you doing right now? Let me show you how to increase that by 25%, 50% in the next month. Let me show you how to increase that. So I'll take what they're doing, and I'll remember now, all what I'm saying is good, but if you can't take it to fit the people and make it practical, it's just talk. Mm-hmm. All books, religious or whatever, are just dead writings until you make them come alive. We have to make them come alive. So I take what I'm talking now and I apply it to the network marketing, the sales, the people that are into coaching, the mind technology. You have to apply it. So I've never had that problem. I haven't. I thank the creator for that. Never had that issue. Never. Never had that. Never had anyone even hint that. Yeah.
Because you've had people that when you accept them as a client, you've communicated with them, you've assessed what their needs are, they tell you what their needs are, and you come to agreement as to they're going to listen to you to deal with fulfilling those needs.
Right. You're going to follow it. Like in my course that I'm at the part of the course created, I'm doing the videos right now, the intro and outro and all that. This is one thing my clients got to understand. When you get this course, if you don't do the work, don't talk to me about it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if something come up where you can't get it done, you need a way to get it done, let's talk.
Yeah.
But if you just didn't do it, you have not earned the right to come to me and tell me that.
Which is what we talked about before, right?
Yeah, talked about before. So I'm really into getting you to move and to feel that result. See, everything is a result of something, and you need to prove that to yourself. And no one can do that but you. No one's gonna do it but you. No one can do it but you. No one should do it but you. Damn it, you should do it.
Mm-hmm.
But you can be guided.
That's right.
To how to do it.
But then you have to make the choice to do it.
That's right. See, and I don't care if it's Warren Buffett. I'll give you an example about, here's what coaching is all about and mentoring is all about. It's all about human beings having two things that they want to do. They want to avoid pain and suffering and gain pleasure or reach a desire. There's only two motivators we have. There are no other motivators. No other motivators in the universe. We only have two motivators: to avoid suffering and pain and to seek happiness and fulfillment and desire. Okay? The idea is to solve the pain puzzle so that the person, place, or thing can enjoy the pleasure principle.
Mm-hmm.
If I can solve, I don't care if it's Warren Buffett right now. If Warren Buffett, with all his billions, would approach me right now, if he had a problem that no one can solve all his life and it gnaws at him, he won't answer to it. He's dreamed about it all these years. And if he met me right now and he felt that that's the one, he can solve that problem, he would hire me right now.
Mm-hmm.
He would hire me right now. That's right.
Yeah.
With all, it doesn't matter how much money you have. When I learned that, when that dawned upon me, game on for anybody. There are people out there that are my clients and I know it. I don't care what your status is. I don't care if you're the King of England or the President of the United States. I don't care if you're the Grand Poobah. I don't care if you have $1 trillion in the bank. If you got an issue and I'm the one you see can solve it, you're going to pay me and I'm going to work with you. Period.
That's the commitment, though.
There are no boundaries.
Right. That's the commitment. You are committing to do it. You're committing to help. You're committing to bring your skills to it.
Bring my skill set to it. I don't have to have as much money as you to do it. I ain't got to have a bigger home than you to do that. I ain't got to be Michael Jordan to help Michael Jordan if he has a problem or pain. So I don't have to be that. Once people that coach and teach get past that, because a lot of them are scared. Well, that person can't. Well, hold on. I might have an answer to a thing that Anthony Robbins need help with. We all need some growth and development. We all do, until we reach that level of a certain level where we're there and we're helping other people. But most of us, 99% of us or more, have pain, problems to who you are. And it gives you a story about Joseph in the Bible. You ever heard the story about Joseph in the Bible? How Joseph was sold into slavery by his brothers? Okay, he was sold into slavery by his brothers, into prison for something he didn't do. And while he was in prison, he began to be known as his philosophy and his work and his spirituality, and people would talk to him. So one guy got out. Joseph said, please tell the king, yada, 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 or whatever. The guy got out and forgot about Joseph, didn't tell. Well, more years passed by. Another guy got out. He went and told the king or whatever about Joseph. I know a guy can solve your dreams. I'm paraphrasing the story. And the king asked Joseph to come out. I heard you can solve my problems. And Joseph told him how to solve his problem. Well, Joseph became a billionaire overnight. Yeah. He solved the king's problem. That's not the exact story, but you see? No. So it doesn't matter who you are or your status in life. Once you get past that thinking, well, I can't do this. I only live in, no. They do it work. It's like needing, getting into a car accident. Okay. And your stomach is, you got a gash in your stomach. Okay. And say you're a multi-billionaire. Okay. Or say you're the biggest athlete on the planet or the richest king in the world. You're not going to say how much money that doctor make or nothing like that. You're going to say, please heal me. You don't care about that. That doctor has the skill to heal you, to take care. And that's you want him to take care. That's all you want. You're not going to say, I don't want that doctor. Fly in so-and-so from so-and-so. You're not going to do that. And a lot of people understand that. When you have something to give, you give it. You hone your skills, you bunker down, you walk with flawless confidence command, you have the self-esteem knowing I am that, maybe move forward. That's why I work with entrepreneurs, and I will work with people that are not on that. Don't get me wrong now. I'm not saying I won't work with people that are newbies. All depends on the newbie. If they want sales training, I'll give it to them. Yes, I'll give it to them. They want sales training. They want training on how to close, how to be better communicators. Sales are art of communication. The art of charm, character, charisma, and class. And the more charm, character, charisma, and class you add in appropriate forms, you're able to connect, communicate, and close. That's 7 C's.
Yep.
Sell the 7 C's.
I counted 4. Where are the other 3? Charm, character, charisma,
and class.
That's 4.
Communicate, connect, and close.
Okay. Just checking on you.
Because once you have those 4, you're open to a better line of communication. Add some more things in there as far as, psychology and persuasion tools. Now you're connecting. Once you connect, then you can close.
There you go. Just want to make sure we got to all 7.
We got all. Thank you for holding me to that.
No, I hear exactly what you're saying. And it is so important to do that. So tell me what with all the things that you're doing, you're clearly a person who cares. What's your take on giving back and charity and so on?
Everything. And I'll tell you why I say everything. Everything is a result of something. The universe and life is always giving me something.
Mm-hmm.
See, life is what I call the creator's gift to us. What we give back is our gift to the creator for being on this planet. We are creators. Giving is a natural part of your being who you are, your power. When you're your power, you can give from the heart. Okay? And when you give, believe me, it's going to come back to you anyway. Now, you don't give it for it to come back. You give it because you want to service and love, because you realize that we're one. Giving from the heart empowers you. You want to feel empowered? Give. You want to feel empowered? Every time somebody get paid, give something. I don't care if it's 10% or 5%. Give from your heart and keep it to yourself as much as you can. Keep it to yourself because you spoil your own goods. Keep it to yourself and let it flow the way it's going to flow, and then you will grow, and then you'll know how it goes. That rhymed too. I just made that up.
That pretty well rhymes, yeah. But it's true. It's true. Too many people have to show off. Oh, I gave $1 million to this charity. The problem is you shouldn't be doing it for notoriety. You should be doing it because it's the right thing to do. It's what you want to do. If
somebody found out, that's different. Like Warren Buffett is one of my favorites. Warren Buffett is one of my favorites. Mm-hmm. Warren Buffett is one of the most humble, giving people. Yeah. His money, $70 billion he gave out, it got out there because there's so much money. I bet he didn't promote that. Okay. Mm-mm. Now I look at one athlete. I won't mention the name here. They always talk about how much he gives and how much he gives and build this and build that. Always talk about that guy. The other guy they compare him to never opens his mouth about his giving. He gives all the time. Never opens his mouth. One guy always talking about what he gives, and I said to myself, dude, that's taboo. That's the opposite of giving. I'm not saying your heart ain't in it, but you're allowing this narrative to be there without commenting on the narrative. That is personal. In fact, giving to me is sacred. It is sacred. You're giving to help humanity, other people. When I give my charity, which I have to do today, by the way, I don't have to. I choose to, and I love to. I've been doing it for years. Sometimes I tell them, put it here, put it there. Today and last week, I told them, put it wherever you think is needed best. Take this money, put it here. Or you give money to the local food bank. Don't tell nobody. Just give it to them. Mm-hmm. A lot of religious people think this. Well, I'm going to give this or that. They call it zakat in Islam. They call it tithing in Christian Judeo religions. They call it something else here or there, or whatever you call it. And people try to teach this. Take it to the points where you receive spiritual enlightenment. That's where you give to. But it goes further than that. The reason why people gave to certain institutions in those days, because the church or the temple or where religion is the only place to go where people to give and service people. Now you have food banks and everything. You have clothing drives, so you can give many more places, and it's still spiritual. You're still fulfilling your spiritual need because you're doing it from the heart.
You should be anyway.
So that expands your giving. So I was at a place once where I was stuck. It's got to be over here. No, it don't. No, it don't have to be there. have to be a place where you know you're giving that's doing good for the people with the right blessing in your heart.
Yeah.
And the right intent. It's the intent that matters. It's the intent. Matters are judged by their intentions, period, in the story. Care who you are, your intention. And that's
Yeah.
what draws it back to you. That's what metaphysics is all about.
Yeah. So when you're working with clients and people and organizations and so on, what is your main objective? I think we've
My
talked
main
about this, but I'd love to hear, kind of in summary, what would you say your main objective is?
my main objective is to assist the individual in the transformative process of transforming their mindset, their quality of the way they think. Because how you think is what creates. Remember that there's opportunity everywhere, but we actually create those opportunities. Instead of look for opportunities, look within. We create opportunities. We really do. We actually draw things to us. But my goal is to help them to transform, okay, to get from the pain puzzle, solve the pain puzzle, lack of sales, lack of clients, not being able to write that book, not getting where they want to be, not having living life they want to live, to enjoying the pleasure principle of solving that puzzle. That's my goal, to increase those sales, to increase to increase the magnetism and the transferability and the adaptability, to increase your performative value. If you have a goal, and say your goal is 100,000 this year, and you have a job, for instance, where you're doing that, and you only at 70,000, okay, and say it's in July, and you want to get that 30,000 for sure or more. Oh, I can help. I can help many people do that. I don't have to have done that in that job myself. It doesn't matter. I don't have to have $1 million. It doesn't matter. I can assist you in doing that. But I will only know that if you're the one for me to coach.
Mm-hmm.
But I can assist you in getting to that, reaching that goal. Okay, because there's certain principles. Remember now, everything is a result of something. Kobe Bryant is one of my favorite. I use Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant copied Michael Jordan. No one doubts that. He copied Michael Jordan. Okay, period.
Mm-hmm.
I tell people all the time, there's nothing wrong with being a copycat as long as you copy the right cat.
Yeah.
He copied Jordan. He wasn't trying to be Jordan. He was trying to be himself. He wasn't trying to be him. People misunderstood that. He may have tried that in the beginning, but he learned to be yourself. There's nothing wrong with taking something someone else has because no one owns anything. We're all one. So I show people how to, since everything is a result of something, find out what Mike did, what Michael did. Is it Hingson? Find out what Michael did, what Michael Hingson did, how he did it. If you can talk to him, ask him questions, and adapt your lifestyle to that to get some of the same results. Because 1 + 1 still equals 2. It's universal. End of story. Put your mind, if you put your mind to it, you can do it. Put your back into it, put your spine into it, put your karma and focus on it. Cut the TV off, stop scrolling on the internet, stop all the games, stop chasing women or men, tone down the lust. I have ways to do that too, the greed, okay, and the anger. I have techniques to do that too. I've been there, trust me, I've been there. I'm a master at it. I've been there before, so I know how to destroy it. I've been taught how to. Every day it's a battle. Things come to me too. I say I'm gonna do a certain thing today, but here's the thing about me now. I say, I'm not getting angry. That's not gonna happen. If I said that, oh, believe me, people are gonna say things and do things that would normally irk, and I know it. Here's the point I'm at now. I'm ready. I'm ready for it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Every time you knock it out, you just strengthen the habit of not, you become a master. You become a master every day, more of a master every day. Until you become that, then you are that, I am that, you're that, we're all that. That's all there is.
Yeah.
Money is a good thing. Have money, get all the money you can get. I can use $1 trillion, me. Now you might ask me, Tamir, what can you do with $1 trillion? Yes, I can. I'm the kind of guy you should want to have $1 billion, billions of dollars. Why? Because you know what I'll do with it. At least you know what I say I'll do with it. It ain't just for me. I don't need that to live. But boy, the things I can do, the programs I can build, assist people, the schools I can build, the housing, the thing I teach people self-esteem, which is very important. Things I can do with $1 billion. Oh my God. If you're into stuff like that, then you cheer people like me on. Because that's who I am. I've been that way all my life. All my life. I'm not bragging, brother. I've been that way all my life.
I understand. I hear exactly what you're saying. And the bottom line is that we all have opportunities, we all have gifts, we all have challenges, and we need to recognize it, and we need to learn how to move forward. And you have certainly given, I think, a lot of insight in ways to do that. Well, if people want to reach out to you, how do they do that?
Well, you can email me at dynamicu@gmail.com, dynamicyou@gmail.com. I do mean dynamic you, because dynamite explodes and creates new scenes. Dynamic,
Yep.
dynamicu@gmail.com. You can also, if you want to reach out to me, if you want to get a complimentary coaching session with me, there's no money involved. Keep your credit card at home. Don't worry about it. I'm willing to give you a 30-minute talk. Just talk you 30 minutes about you and your career and what you're doing. Things you think I may be able to assist you with, any problems you may have. And you go to coach.thedeanofdynamicresults.com. Coach.thedeanofdynamicresults.com. Get on my calendar, and I will gladly sit down with you and do a 30-minute consultation and possibly a follow-up, consultation, depending on where it goes. Now, you get on my calendar. It's not a sales pitch, but do not get on my calendar and try to sell me anything either. Don't do that. Please don't do that.
And say that website once more.
Coach.thedeanofdynamicresults.com for a 30-minute no-fee consultation. And here's a quick way to get a hold of me. If you go to learn.tamirqadree.com, my name, learn, you will sign up for a free checklist. And it talks about habits. It talks about willpower, self-analysis, and transmutation. That's a free checklist you can get. You can study. Just enter your email address and you get the checklist.
Okay. Well, Tamir, I want to thank you very much for being here and clearly providing a lot of insights and a lot of good information that I hope people will take to heart and use, and that people will reach out to you. You presented a lot of good ideas by any standard, so I really hope people will do that. And I hope all of you listening out there appreciate this. And also, I hope that you like the episode and that you'll go give us a 5-star rating wherever you're watching or listening to the podcast. We value that. Love to hear from you. You can reach out to me. Tamir has given you his information. You can reach out to me at Michael H.I., M-I-C-H-A-E-L-H-I, at Accessibe, ACCESSIBE.com. Or go to our podcast page, www.michaelhingson, that's MICHAELHINGSON.com/podcast. But those ratings are invaluable to us. And also, if you know anyone else, and Tamir, of course, you as well, if you know anyone else who you think ought to be a guest, love to hear about it. Please let us know. Introduce us. We're always looking for more people to come on Unstoppable Mindset Podcast. Well, again, Tamir, I want to thank you. This has been wonderful. I really appreciate you taking the time to be here with us today.
It was an honor and pleasure being here, and may you continue to prosper and grow and doing a great work. It's an honor to be with someone of your stature where you've been. I admire you. I appreciate you, and thank you for giving me the opportunity. It is you that have given to me, and may it come back to you unlimited fold. You are a good man. You, my man, are a good man.